172,017 job cuts in 1 month, mass layoffs rise to a level that we have not seen since the Great Recession, Michael Snyder reports. Have you ever not been able to sleep at night because you're stressed out about your finances? If so, you're certainly not alone. When there is simply not enough money coming in to pay all the bills, the pressure can be excruciating. The cost of food, housing, and other essentials has been rising much faster than paychecks have in recent years, and now a huge wave of mass layoffs has begun. According to Challenger, Gray, and Christmas, employers in the United States announced 172,017 job cuts last month. That was the highest level that we've seen for the month of February since the depths of the Great Recession in 2009. U.S.-based employees announced 172,017 job cuts in February, the highest total of the month since 2009, when 186,350 job cuts were recorded. It's the highest monthly total since July 2020, when 262,649 cuts were announced, according to a report released Thursday from global outplacement in business and executive coaching firm Challenger, Gray, and Christmas. February's total is 245% increase from 49,795 cuts announced 1 month prior. That's a 103% increase from the 84,638 cuts announced in the same month last year. So look, if the number of job cuts goes up by 245% in just 1 month, your economy is going in the wrong direction. You don't exactly have to be a genius to figure that out. Overall, employers in the United States announced 221,812 job cuts during the first 2 months of this year. That's 33% higher than the total for the first 2 months of 2024. So far this year, employers have announced 221,812 job cuts, the highest year-to-date YTD total since 2009, when 428,099 job cuts were planned. It's up 33% from 166,945 cuts announced during the same period in 2024. I keep trying to warn my readers that this is just the beginning, and during this new economic downturn, it's likely that millions of people will eventually lose their jobs. What will our society look like if that actually happens? Meanwhile, home sales continue to be depressingly low. According to economists at Wells Fargo, total home sales in January were only modestly above the weak rate experienced between 2008 and 2010. In January, total home sales reached 4.7 million, a figure Wells Fargo economists say is only modestly above the weak rate experienced between 2008 and 2010. Before the pandemic, monthly home sales averaged around 6 million. Housing demand soared during the pandemic, sending prices and mortgage rates to new highs, but now high costs and borrowing rates are keeping both buyers and sellers on the sidelines. Homeowners that secured a low mortgage rate during the pandemic or who have paid off their homes are not selling since they don't want to give up their low rates. And once again, here's another example where we're seeing numbers that are unlike anything we've seen since the Great Recession. When will the reality of what we're facing start sinking in for people? Right now, major retailers are shutting down stores all over the nation. They wouldn't be doing this if they thought good times were ahead of us. For instance, Kohl's is telling us that they will probably permanently close 27 underperforming stores this weekend. Kohl's will shut 27 underperforming U.S. stores this weekend, but not before slashing final sales prices. The department store chain will wind down operations at the locations in 15 states on Saturday. Initially, the stores were expected to close by the end of April, but the deep discounts have stripped stock down, leading the locations to close sooner. At Macy's has just identified 66 out of the 150 stores that it eventually plans to shut down. Macy's in January named 66 of the 150 stores it's planning to close as part of its revitalization plan, and some stores on the list appear to have already closed or being closed, or be closing sooner. The retailer announced February 2024 plans to shut down 150 underproductive Macy's stores locations by 2026. The plan is designed to return the company to sustainable, profitable sales growth, Macy's said in a press release in January 2025. All over the nation, there are now abandoned buildings where once thriving businesses used to operate. Boarded up storefronts litter the landscape all over America, and this is particularly true in many of our heavily populated urban areas. Of course, it's not just large businesses that are failing. According to Gregory Manarino, small business startups are failing at a staggering rate. According to the latest data, a staggering 90% of U.S. small business startups fail. This is the highest level in history. It's incredibly difficult to get a successful small business off the ground in the United States today. If you have ever tried, you know what I'm talking about. We should have a system that nurtures small businesses because traditionally, small businesses have been the primary engine of employment growth in this country. But instead, we have a system that ruthlessly crushes most small businesses. The economic environment that we live in is sick, and that is not going to change anytime soon. In fact, it appears that economic conditions are about to get even worse. According to a CBS News poll that was just released, 28% of Americans believe that we are already in a recession right now, and that was a 5% jump from last month. And a different survey just discovered that 51% of Americans believe that the stock market could crash soon. But here's a real shocker. 51% said they were worried that stocks could be headed for another crash, up from 46% during the fourth quarter. At the same time, fewer Americans feel comfortable investing right now, with only 26% saying they would feel comfortable putting money in the market given current conditions. Stock prices were down once again on Thursday, and S&P 500 and the Nasdaq recently entered correction territory. In so many ways, it's starting to feel like 2008 and 2009 all over again. I hope that you're ready because we are in for a wild ride. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book, a blockbuster entitled Why, is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He also has written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of Future America, The Beginning of the End, Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to publish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.